Hey everybody, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and I'm very excited to be catching up with PCO. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. How have you been? How has life as Ring of Honor heavyweight champion been treating you?
Just very, very busy. It's like I don't know, like I'm doing like a lot of TV shows, I'm doing a lot of radio shows, a lot of podcasts. It's been very, very hectic, but very fun too and very rewarding.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I mean, one of the things I really did want to bring up, because in our first interview, you made a great point of it, is the fact that age is just a number. And I feel like now that you have this World Heavyweight Championship, you've definitely proven that to people. Like, if people are doubters at this point, they're just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, now they might doubt the next thing I'm going to tell you about the rest of the story. But that's the game, though. You know, it's like I always aim for a high goal, and people are not, they don't agree with what I'm saying. I still go for it, and I still, achieve it. I'm very driven, very, very driven.
No, you can definitely tell. Congratulations on everything that's been happening lately. It's so awesome to
Thank you
see.
very much. And yeah, it was really, really something else. You know, it was a special day, and it's been like now back to normal. Like it's like the title doesn't change that much anything, except that I'm the champion. But saying I'm saying I'm the same PCO that you met in Toronto.
Right.
It doesn't change me, but it changed everything else around. But it doesn't change me as a person.
Well, when it comes to the actual World Heavyweight Championship, I've held it, and I mean, literally, not as in won it, obviously. And it is heavy. Like the ROH Championship is very heavy. So when it comes to traveling, has that kind of changed things up for you? Or people always looking at it, asking you questions?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to fly a day ahead of the tour, so I don't have to bring it with me because it's very hard to go through security without taking it out of the carry-on, and then once you put it on the plastic container or whatever, people are looking at it and they're looking
Ooh.
at you. And they want to take pictures and things like that. So it's hard to go under the radar with it, and it's very heavy. You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
and at one point I had two belts. I had the six-man tag belts plus the heavyweight belt. So just my bag was like almost making the not the 50 pounds limits for per bag, but I was happy when I could get it under the plane instead of having to carry it on with me.
Oh, I don't blame you. Those things are, like we've both stated, they are super heavy. And that's for me who's a weakling. So for you to say that it's heavy and you're like ripped, that's
Well,
that's something else.
yeah, we're lucky we got wheelers now, but it's still.
Well, both of us being proud Canadians, I have to ask a question that usually makes or breaks somebody. So Poutine, yes or no?
Yes for the taste, but no for me. I mean,
Okay.
once in a while, but like on very special places. I got one or two places that I would eat poutine. It's not something that any restaurant would have my type of poutine.
Well, what is your type of poutine? Because usually it's just the fries, cheese curds, and gravy.
Yeah, I don't have. It's just it depends of how the fries are cooked and how the sauce tastes and what kind of cheese they put on it. I'm very picky about what I want on my poutine. Basically, there's only one restaurant where I really eat poutine, and it's called Como Pizzeria. It's only
Okay.
in Montreal. So once
Gotcha.
you come in, you have to go there because a lot of celebrities they all go there. It's there's a huge lineup outside on weekends. It's
Oh,
a
wow.
very famous place. Yeah,
Okay. See, I'm
in
like a
Montreal.
poutine. I'm like a fanatic, and I love Montreal for the poutine and the bagels. So, like, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, yeah, you have to.
No, I'll never forget the first time I watched you wrestle live was in Toronto, and I was just absolutely blown away at your agility, your athleticism, and most importantly, the fact that you can withstand so much pain. Like it is just, it's mind blowing. Has there ever been a stunt, being that you aren't human, that's kind of gone wrong, and you're like, oh man, that one actually did really hurt?
Yeah, that's the thing, though. That's not being. That's why I wanted to go with this. PCO is not human because I know my tolerance to pain is like if, let's say, for someone, if they're at the hospital and their tolerance to pain, they'll ask, "What's your degree of pain?" And they say 8 out of 10. For PCO, probably be 0.5 out of 10 for the same amount of pain. So that's just the way I was born and built and reborn and everything else.
Reborn.
Just not
Right.
being, I'm not human in that way. Uh, I've got emotions like any human beings, but as far as pain and everything else, that's not human.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned having emotions because in our first talk, you actually mentioned to me that you are a big Celine Dion fan. So I was wondering if you've been cranking out any of those tunes lately, anything that people wouldn't expect from you.
I think because you caught me off guard. I mean, I'm more of a fan for where she came from because I know the city where she's from. It's
Of
a
course.
little city, and there's nothing there. And then she went a long way, and it's more the story of Celine than I'm not a big fan of her song, but I'm a fan of what she accomplished, what she became, and who she is. And by the way, she just lost her mom a few days ago. So,
Oh, that's so sad.
so yeah, but she's strong, and she did a song for her, and she talked about it on the live show. So I know you're a music freak, so I wanted to give you that kind of sad news, but it's part
Yeah.
of life. She was in the age there. I think Celine knew that it was coming, so I think it is just something. I think she feels good about it.
But they always say that like pain and heartache is one of the biggest motivations and inspirations for lyricists and musicians. So it's such a sad thing to hear. I'm surprised I didn't hear that, but it's good that you mentioned how like she sang
Yeah,
about it and something came out of it.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
interesting. Well, one thing I did want to bring up with you was Monster Mania is so cool to see because I feel like you're always like, oh, I'm going to run wild on you. And like, it seems like it's very derivative of Hogan and Hulkamania. So is that kind of
Yeah.
where it came from?
I
Or?
think it's different because I think when I was 14, I wanted to be the next Hulk Hogan, and in a way, like I want to kind of for coming from my heart, I want to pay tribute, to Hulk. It's like, uh, and I think it's PCO Monster Mania. So it's also being a monster. It's totally different. And monster in a way that it's a monstrous mania too. Like maybe a monster mania. It's monstrous. I mean, it's huge. It's big, and I tried to figure out any other terms, and I've think and I've rolled in my bed and back and forth, and I thought for weeks, and I came with different names. And after like 2 days of being really meditating about it, it was like, that's it. That's PCO Monster Mania runs wild on you. And it did last night. I'm going to give you another scoop. I was on one of the biggest Canadian show called Dave Morissette en direct. It's and I choke slammed Dave through a table, and we had like that nice deep interview for 10 minutes, like
And then
talking about the
bam!
ups and downs. And then he goes, "Can I try your belt?" The belt was on the table. He goes, and I'll send you the link after. And he goes, "Can I try your belt?" And Destro's there. "You don't touch the belt." And then I snap, electrical malfunction.
Of
And then
course.
"You don't touch my manager." And then up and bang on the table. And just between last night at 11 p.m. that the show was on through 7 p.m. this morning, they had over 80,000 views just on their website.
That's
That
amazing.
was huge. So PCO Monster Mania is already running wild on you.
I am totally on the PCO Monster Mania train, 100%. I'm so glad that I've not made you mad or pissed off at me because I do not want to go through a tape. I don't want to go through anything.
That's good. So far, you're good with me.
I'm going to try to keep it that way. Well, I know that it's been such a busy day for you, champ. So I just want to say thank you so much for hopping on here, for giving me your time, and for catching up. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. Anytime. Thank you very much.
Of course. Until next time.
Bye-bye.